Hello everyone, I am Nicole Supidinia and we at the Group 10 will going to discuss about the visual impairment. So, visual impairment as defined by Individuals with Disabilities Education Act or IDEA, visual impairment is an impairment in vision that even with correction adversely affects a child's performance, which includes both partial sight and blindness. So learners with difficulty seeing often have physical sights such as crossed eyes, squinting, and eyes that turn outwards. They may be also clumsy, usually bumping objects that causes them to fall down.
So first is amblyopia. This disorder where the one eye can see longer than 20 feet afar. They develop this disorder during their childhood due to strabismus or crossed eyes or saturn is libat. Aniridia. This disorder is partly or fully gone. This condition is often affect both eyes. Achromatopsia. There is a genetic disorder in which a child is born with non-functioning cones. It is more likely to be a lost vision. Astigmatism. It is a common disorder and generally treatable. And example, when someone staring at any light, he or she saw like ang kakurit-kurit niya suga, cataract, or in Tagalog, is catarata. It's a cloudy area in the lens of your eye. It is a common disorder as you get older. Color blindness, where the person can't identify the right color. For example, we saw red but they saw a color green or other color. And because the X chromosome of male that is responsible for the color blindness.
Is a condition caused by the damage to the optic nerve and retinal nerve fiber by increasing pressure in the eye. So, ang glaucoma ga amat-amat dula ang mga panulok, so hindi ka na medyo makakita. Doon muni nga stage ga amat-amat na dula ang panulok mo na nga mahulog sa pagkabulag. So ang sintomas ang glaucoma, gasakit imo mata, galabo ang imo nga panulok, gapula imo mata, kagasakit imo ulo. Hyperopia naman niya, this vision loss occurs when an individual can't clearly see object that far away but not focus on object nearby. So ari naman niya, makita mo ang isa ka bagay sa layo pero kung sa lapit hindi. So, ang iyan naman niya kasi ang sintomas ang hyperopia, karap lang ang mata mo gasingkit para makita mo ang isa ka bagay nga malinaw, tapos mahapdi ang imo nga mata, gasakit imo mata, pagsiman, gasakit ang ulo, malabo ang imo nga paningin sa isa ka bagay nga lapit sa imo. Para naman niya, dahil nag-amat-amat tula ang imo nga panulok, nga malinaw, sa mga bagay or sa mga color. So, mabalaan mo lang di kumimuni ka na kung 50 na imo edad. So, dara na gasulod ang ini nga disease or sakit. Myopia naman niya, the opposite of hyperopia. People with myopia can see object that are nearby but cannot see object are in distant. So, makita nila ang mga bagay sa lapit pero kung sa layo hindi. Ikaw diba sa hyperopia ya, makita mo ang isa ka bagay kung layo ay kung lapit pero kung sa layo hindi. Tiknay, kung madula ang communicate sa imo brain kag imo mata, diba ka connect na sa duwa. So, ang bali, the lack of communication between brain and optic nerve result of vision loss. So, kung hindi na sila mag-communicate nga duwa, mabulag ka. Sa retinal, kung madula ang maintenance ang imong retinal or retinal, maghatag sa masang severe myopia. So, di ba ang myopia kagina no, mabudayan ka magtulok, kag dari maamat-amat dula ang imong normal nga panulok.
These are the characteristics of visual impairment. Limited ability to learn incidentally from their environment, difficulty seeing object in peripheries, blurred vision when looking at things, difficulties with focusing on close or distant object, have a double vision, having trouble reading or learning to read, and participating in class. having a visual impairment is more likely hard to socialize and to participate inside the classroom, and sometimes you may get bullied because of your visual impairment. One of the examples is having a libat.
Many experience difficulty reading standard-size print and textbook and handouts, reading sign, poster, bulletin board, and chalkboards, and overhead from their desk, seeing face or identifying familiar people from the distance, unable to take their own notes.
So these are the accommodation for students who are hearing impaired. First is provide seating in the front of the classroom, allow tape recorders in the classroom, items written on the chalkboard or overhead transparency should also be stated orally or duplicated in advance in enlarged print or braille as appropriate. Provide assistance interpreting materials that are presented visually, such as photographs, diagrams, and charts. Audio-ted, brailled, or electronically formatted lecture notes, handouts, and text. Braille lab signs and equipment labels, auditory lab, warning signals. This may help them to learn better and they can be more confident inside the classroom.
In short, visual impairment described as any kind of vision loss. So whether it's someone who cannot see at all or someone who has partial vision loss. So some people are completely blind, but many others have what's called legal blindness. So the difference of visual impairment and blindness is that visual impairment is defined as a decrease in the ability to see a certain degree. So it's not fixable by usual means such as glasses. So while the blindness is being unable to see the injury, disease, or genetic condition.